In this video, we proudly present to you the story of Novak Djokovic, one of the greatest tennis players ever to touch the game. Two iconic players had dominated the world of tennis, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. But that was about to end thanks to a 20-year-old shimmering talent. Novak Djokovic disrupted Federer and Nadal's streak of wins, winning his first major title in 2008. He went on to become one of the most successful male tennis players ever. But was it always a win for Djokovic when it came to tennis, or did he struggle with failure numerous times before hitting the gold mine? Let's find out. The birth and childhood of a champion, Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic was born to Diana and Srđan Djokovic on May 22, 1987 in Serbia, Yugoslavia. Novak's mother is Croatian, while his father is Serbian. His two younger brothers, Marko and George, are also professional tennis players. Djokovic discovered his love for tennis at the tender age of 4, sometime after his parents gave him a soft foam ball and a mini racket. According to his father, the ball and mini racket would later become the most beloved toy in his life. Recognizing their son's love for tennis, Novak's parents enrolled him in a tennis camp in Novi Sad. In 1993, when he was only 6, he attended a tennis camp the Teniski Club Partizan organized. The camp was overseen by Jelena Jenčić, a Yugoslav tennis player, and was based at Mount Kopolonik. When she saw Djokovic play tennis, Jelena said, "This is the greatest talent I have ever seen since Monica Seles." She tutored Djokovic for 6 years until she realized he had better chances if he traveled abroad for tougher competitions. Thus, when Djokovic was 12, she reached out to Nikola Pilic and enrolled him in the Pilic Tennis Academy in Germany, where he spent 4 years. He began his international career at age 14, bagging wins and awards even at a young age. The start of a professional tennis career. Juniors 2001. Being a member of the Yugoslav national team, Djokovic played in the 2001 Junior Davis Cup for players under 14. He played in the singles, but lost his match. As a junior tennis player, he had 40 wins and 11 losses, making him number 24 on the world ranking for juniors in 2004. The best of Djokovic as a junior was when he played in the Junior Grand Slam Australian Open in 2004, reaching the semifinals. Going professional 2003 to 2005. In 2003, Djokovic entered the ATP Tour, marking the start of his professional career. This was when Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer reigned as the dominant men's tennis players. Between 2003 and 2005, Djokovic played mostly in the Futures and Challenger tournaments, winning 3 games in each. In 2004, he played his first tour-level tournament, UMAG, although he lost to Filippo Volandri. In 2005, Djokovic qualified for the Australian Open and made his first Grand Slam tournament appearance. Novak's first Grand Slam tournament ended with him being defeated by Marat Safin, who later won the tournament. Djokovic played 4 Masters events, qualifying for 2. His performance in Paris was considered the best. First wins and titles. 2006, winning his first titles. After his first quarterfinal appearance at the French Open and him reaching the 4th round at Wimbledon that year, Djokovic ranked among the top 40 in the world singles. Djokovic won his first ATP title 3 weeks after Wimbledon at the Dutch Open, where he defeated Nicolas Massaud in the final. At the Moselle Open in Metz, France, he won the second ATP title, and his ranking moved up to the top 20, winning the first Masters Series title 2007 in the Davis Cup. In 2007, Djokovic won the ATP Adelaide tournament but later lost in the Australian Open in the 4th round to Roger Federer. After that, Djokovic went on to play at the Masters Series events in Indian Wells and Miami. In Indian Wells, he was the runner-up, while he was the champion in Miami. This feat pushed him into the world's top 10. He lost to Nadal in the Indian Wells final and defeated Guillermo Canas in the Key Biscayne finals, becoming the champion. With his first Masters Series title, Djokovic returned to Serbia, his country, to play in a match against Georgia. He won the match by a point, defeating Georgia's George Chantarina and helping Serbia enter the Davis Cup World Group. Djokovic's role was pivotal in Serbia's win over Australia in the 2007 playoff. He won all his matches and promoted the Serbia Davis Cup to the 2008 World Group. Unfortunately, he caught influenza in early 2008, which led to him being sidelined and missing his first singles match. He returned to win his doubles match, but later retired during his singles with Nikolay Davydenko. Fast forward to 2010, Djokovic alongside his Serbian teammates crowned themselves Davis Cup champions after winning the final against France. In 2007, the Joker went on to play in different competitions that year. Some of the competitions include the Monte Carlo Masters, where he lost to David Ferrer in round 3, the Estoril Open, where he won against Richard Gasquet in the final, the Internazionale d'Italia Rome, where Nadal defeated him in the quarterfinals, the Hamburg Masters, where he lost to Carlos Moya, also in the quarterfinals, the French Open, where he reached his first major semifinal but lost to Nadal, the tournament's eventual champion, Wimbledon, where he won the quarterfinal against Marcos Baghditis in the quarterfinal and had to retire against Nadal in the semis, and finally, the US Open 2007, where he made his first Grand Slam final, losing to Roger Federer. The first Grand Slam win, 2008. In 2008, Djokovic entered his second consecutive Grand Slam final at the Australian Open. Unlike the first time, he didn't drop a single set and also won over then-reigning champion Federer in the semifinals. Djokovic became the youngest tennis player to get to the semifinals in all 4 Grand Slam tournaments. Advancing to the final, he won 4 sets, defeating Wilfried Tsonga and earning his first Grand Slam title. For the first time since 2005, apart from Federer and Nadal, someone else won the Grand Slam singles title, ranking number 1 for the first time. In 2011, Djokovic won 10 tournaments, including Wimbledon, the US Open, and the Australian Open. This season was recorded as the best in Djokovic's career, especially considering that he lost only 2 matches until the final match of the US Open. However, he sustained a back injury in the US Open toward the end of the season. As such, he had to retire from the Davis Cup, ending with a poor showing at the ATP Finals. Regardless, Djokovic ended the season with an impressive 70-6 record, and as the 2011 ITF World Champion. On July 4, 2011, the Association of Tennis Professionals, ATP, ranked Djokovic world number 1. According to Pete Sampras, Djokovic's 2011 season was one of the best sports achievements he ever witnessed. Nadal described Djokovic's season as probably the highest level of tennis that I ever saw. Novak Djokovic's career in statistics. Regarding the modern tennis game, Novak Djokovic has arguably one of the most impressive statistics. He won his first slam when he was only 20, defeating 22-year-old Wilfried Tsonga. Then he won in Melbourne 8 more times, at Roland Garros twice, at Wimbledon 7 times, and at the US Open thrice. He entered 2021 with 17 Grand Slams before winning 3 slams of the season in London, Melbourne, and Paris. At 373 weeks as world number 1, Djokovic achieved the most weeks as ATP world number 1. He began outranking Federer, who had 310 weeks in March 2021. In the 1990s, Pete Sampras had the most times as the year-end number, holding the record 6 times from 1993 to 1998 consecutively. In 2021, Djokovic became tied for the record, holding the year-end number 1 record in 2011 to 2015, and then in 2018 to 2020. However, after winning the 2021 Paris Masters, he secured a record 7th season, becoming the year-end number 1 for the 7th time. He won his first Masters 1000 title in 2007 at the Miami Open, winning all 9 Masters-level events at least twice each. When he won Cincinnati in 2018, he bagged the career Golden Masters of winning. Then, he claimed the double career Golden Masters by winning again in Cincinnati in 2020. He is said to be the only tennis player to have won all the events once over, and he did it twice. After capturing the Italian Open in 2022, Djokovic moved on to 38 career titles at the 1000 Masters level. Novak has won 92 ATP singles titles, including 38 ATP Masters titles, 21 Grand Slam singles titles, and 6 ATP Finals titles. He won all 9 of the Masters tournaments twice, holding the record as the only male tennis player to do so. He is the only male Serbian player to attain the world number 1 ranking and win a Grand Slam. He is also the only male tennis player to win each Grand Slam, ATP Finals, and all 9 Masters tournaments at least twice. In the Open era, he is the only male tennis player to win all 4 Grand Slams on 3 different surfaces, completing a non-calendar year Grand Slam. He also holds an all-time record of reaching 32 Grand Slam finals, playing the final of each slam at least 6 times. Additionally, he is the only male player to play in 9 finals in 2 different Grand Slams. Novak Djokovic's net worth and career earnings. The 35-year-old Serbian champion Novak Djokovic has a net worth of $220 million as of 2022. he has earned more money than any other player from on-court winnings in the history of professional tennis. In July 2021, his career earnings topped $150 million for the first time. In 2011 alone, he earned $12 million, setting the record for the most prize money in one season. Novak raked in $24 million between 2017 and 2018. This covers earnings from his salary and endorsements. He raked in $50 million and $45 million in 2018-2019 and 2019-2020, respectively. His winnings at Wimbledon in July 2019 brought his total career earnings to $133 million, beating Roger Federer's $124 million. His total tournament earnings so far are $164 million, $34 million more than Federer's, and $30 million more than Nadal, ranking him number one on the ATP career earning list. Endorsements and deals. Most of Novak's earnings come from endorsements and deals with brands such as Lacoste and Peugeot. The Serbian tennis player has attracted several notable commercial partners in his career, and payments from these companies have made him enormously rich. For instance, he rakes in 8 figures annually from his deal with Lacoste. He also enjoyed endorsements from sports clothing and equipment specialists Uniqlo, Adidas, and Nike. Lacoste began sponsoring Djokovic in 2017, signing a 5-year deal with him and paying a premium to former sponsor Uniqlo. The Serbian tennis player wears Asics shoes and is or was sponsored by Head, Seiko Watch Corporation, NetJets, and Peugeot. Novak lost a few notable sponsors following his Australian Open saga and his refusal to be vaccinated with Peugeot and Ultimate Chronos Group. However, while his reputation might have been dented among some, Djokovic still appears to have massive commercial value to potential sponsors. Rivalries. Djokovic has had numerous rivalries against top-tier players on the court over the years. However, his matchups against Murray, Nadal, and Federer always stand out, enthralling fans and becoming an engaging watch. His rivalry with Nadal stands out the most of these 3 big opponents. Djokovic and Nadal have played 59 matches against each other, with Djokovic leading the tally by winning 30 contests. The most recent face-off was at the quarterfinals of the 2022 French Open in an engaging 4-set battle which the Joker lost. The Serbian's rivalry with Federer is also considered one of the most entertaining on the ATP Tour. Djokovic and Federer had 50 competitions, with Djokovic winning 27 matches. On the other hand, Murray's rivalry was more comfortable as Djokovic was the dominating tennis player already. There were times Murray took control, but Djokovic boasts 25 victories compared to Murray's 11. Scandals. 2022 was a challenging year for Djokovic and his fans and supporters. He wasn't allowed to enter Australia, preventing him from participating in the Australian Open, where he was the reigning champion and winning it in 2021. And he also had to withdraw from the 2022 US Open. This was the result of his stance on the COVID-19 vaccination and not being vaccinated at all. In January 2022, Djokovic, the world's former #1 men's tennis player, had his Australian visa dramatically revoked in Melbourne. Upon his arrival in Melbourne, he was first held at the airport. Then, several hours later, border officials came to tell him he could not enter as he had not met entry rules. According to border officials, Djokovic had failed to provide appropriate evidence for entry. After this, he was taken to a government detention hotel where he was kept until a court decision on his deportation. The Serbian player had earlier said he is opposed to vaccination. Thus, he was granted a medical exemption to play in the Australian Open. The exemption was granted by 2 independent medical panels organized by Victoria State and Tennis Australia, the body running the event. However, Novak's exemption had infuriated the majority in the country, especially since Australia had seen a surge in COVID-19 cases. Also, over 90% of Australians above 16 were fully vaccinated. Add that to the fact that they have had to endure extremely strict restrictions, and some are still unable to travel anywhere. Djokovic's decision landed him in the middle of a controversy beyond tennis and at the heart of a political brawl. Djokovic's visa ban was eventually waived in November 2022, allowing him to target a 10th Australian Open crown in 2023. The scandal in Australia dominated the headlines, but that was not all. Australia's outburst at his stance on COVID-19 vaccination had not changed his mind. The Serbian player said he would not play in future Grand Slams if taking a COVID-19 vaccination became a part of the criteria. Personal life and business. Djokovic is married to Jelena Ristic, whom he met in high school and began dating in 2005. They got engaged in September 2013 and married less than a year later in July 2014. They got married in a hotel resort in Montenegro. Their firstborn Stefan was born in October 2014, and their daughter Tara in 2017. Novak Djokovic established his charitable foundation early in his career. The foundation aims at helping children from disadvantaged areas and communities grow in a stimulating and safe environment. Their humanitarianism did not go unnoticed, as Djokovic and his wife have received multiple awards for their efforts. Djokovic has several highly lucrative overseas sponsorships and is also the face of Telekom Serbia, a state-owned utility. His family is into the winemaking business, although Novak himself does not directly promote alcohol. Nevertheless, he did attend the launch of the ventures, and Djokovic won, being a family member. Most of Djokovic's business interests are managed through Family Sport, a company set up by his immediate family members. The company began with projects in the hospitality industry, such as the Novak Cafe and Restaurant franchise. However, the company has expanded to include sports apparel, real estate, and sports entertainment event organization. The Serbian tennis icon also launched Djokolife, a range of nutritional food products. With all that being said, one has to admit that Novak Djokovic's story undoubtedly teaches resilience and unwavering zeal to go after what you want, no matter what. He is one of the GOATs of tennis, and we hopefully will enjoy more from him in the future.